Today on the 2010 Subaru Outback, we're going to install part number 87568 from Hidden Hitch. This also applies to part number 75673 from Draw Tight. Okay, first thing we need to do is remove the two rubber isolators from the muffler hangers by the muffler, and probably one further up in front of the rear axle will give us plenty of clearance to work with. And we'll spray down the rubber hangers with lubricant to make them easier to remove. Let's pry them off. One here, one on the other side of the muffler we need to do. All right, before we do this last one, we'll put a strap around the exhaust so it doesn't fall down uncontrollably. And with our strap now, we can lower it the way we want it. There, perfect. All right, next thing we need to do is remove this heat shield right here. There's 4 bolts we need to remove. And this will be reinstalled when we're done, but we do have to do some trimming. All right, next thing we need to do is remove these rubber plugs. It's going towards the front of the vehicle, and there's one towards the rear bumper. And we'll do this on both sides of the vehicle. Right now we're on the driver's side. All right, next thing we need to do is drill an access hole in the bottom of the frame. We're going to start from this point right here and go about 2 inches out. And then we'll go ahead and drill out using a 1 1/8 inch hole saw. Next we can start installing the hardware into the frame of the vehicle, but you want to note that there's 2 different sized blocks that come with the kit. The small block goes towards the rear bumper, and then the longer block goes up towards the front of the vehicle. To get our hardware in place, we're going to have to use one of the bolt leaders that's supplied with the kit. We're going to take it threaded in and push it through the access hole. Since we're working with the hole going towards the front, we'll use our long block. Push that onto the wire into the frame, and then we'll thread on the bolt itself. Push everything in and out the bottom. Now we'll do the same thing with the hole going towards the bumper. And we'll put our small block on the wire, push it in. Then we'll thread on the bolt. Push the bolt in, pull it on through. All right, we're done for now on the driver's side. Now we'll go back over to the passenger side, repeat the same process. When we're done for access holes, it might be a good idea to go ahead and spray some primer or some paint or something to seal up the metal with, or a simple can of undercoat. Now at this point we can get ready to install the hitch on the vehicle. What we need to do is just go ahead and push the hitch up, make sure we don't push the bolts into the frame. You can do it just like this. However, you can take the bolt leader and actually just leave it on here, and then put the wire through the hitch and pull it up into place also. We'll install the hitch using the bolts closest to the bumper first. We'll install a conical tooth washer and a nut. All right, the 2 bolts closest to the bumper, we still have them loose, but so we can still move the hitch around. Because on the attachment going towards the front of the vehicle, we have to sneak in this little washer right here between the hitch and the frame of the vehicle. And then the same thing as before, conical tooth washer and nut. The next thing we're going to do is snug up the hitch to the frame of the vehicle. But when we do that, we want to make sure the holes line up with the threaded fittings for the heat shield. And probably the easiest way to do that is just push the hitch up into position, reinstall the bolts without the heat shield. Just help keep everything in alignment. Then we can snug down the hitch. Okay, as long as you can unthread these fingers, I think we'll be good to go. At this point, let's go ahead and turn our attention to the heat shield and trim it as needed. Take our heat shield and we'll put it back into place. Go line up our bolt holes and see where it interferes with the hitch. Okay. We are attaching point here and we know there's a bolt right here. So what we'll do is just basically take out this section right here. And this is as described in the instructions. And we'll just use some 10 snips to cut that out. We can go ahead and reinstall our heat shield. Now at this point, we have our hitch snug down, so then we can go ahead and just torque the bolts down as specified in the instructions. All right, we'll repeat the same process back over on the other side. Okay, with our hitch torqued down in place, we can go ahead and reinstall the exhaust. We got our vehicle off the lift. Now let's go ahead and give you a couple measurements that'll help you in choosing some accessories for your hitch. Okay, first off, from the top of the receiver opening down to the ground on this particular vehicle is 14.5 inches. And from the center of a hitch pin hole to the outer edge of a bumper is about 8 inches. With that, our install is complete, and there you have it for part number 87568 from Hidden Hitch.